What's up guys, bit of a serious video today. I thought I would talk about why I left the Shaolin Temple. I get this question all the time. People know that I was at the Shaolin Temple for 3 years, but they don't really know why I left. I think I briefly answered this question before on the podcast, but it was just like 10-second Patreon question or something, and many people don't know. So let's put this question to rest once and for all. I went to Shaolin Temple in the summer of 2013 and I left in the summer of 2016. And there were 3 main reasons why I decided to leave, essentially. And don't forget that these reasons are equally important. This is not a list. I'm myself not entirely sure which one was the most important. But the first one is that I got injured. It was a very weird injury. So the way it is at the Shaolin Temple is that you train pretty hard. And there you always have some sort of pain or some sort of muscle soreness or aching somewhere, right? Maybe you fell down or you overstretched or you got hit. so this is normal. This is the status quo, and it's not a big deal. It's okay. You're always in pain somewhere and you always have muscle soreness somewhere. There's never a day where you don't feel like something's off. So I had some sort of abdominal muscle soreness. And it went on for a whole month. In the beginning, I thought, whatever. It will go away like everything else. And I kept training. I didn't rest. And then it slowly got worse. I would start to feel it when I go jogging. I would start to feel it when I jump. I would start to feel it when I walk up the stairs. And at some point, when we were training, we would train like one by one. We do acrobatics one by one. And then there was this one flip. Not really a flip, but a kick. It's a very basic kick. You just jump and you kick. And you land on the same leg that you kick with. It's called Jiao. And I was having so much pain when I did that jump that I was basically just collapsing. I jumped and I collapsed. And I was like, I'm having actual pain now. This is not muscle soreness anymore. Because monks are pretty smart, and people who train that much, how do I say this? You always, you look for reasons not to train sometimes. And the masters know this, so the rule is basically, if you're not dead, you can train. If they don't see your arm literally being broken, you can train. If you have a fever, you can train. If there's nothing clearly and visibly wrong with you, you can train. That's why we tend to ignore injuries there, which is probably not a great thing. Then everyone just told me, suck it up, it's not a big deal. And I kind of believed them. I kept going, and it just got too bad. I took 1 week break, started again, still there. And now looking back, it was a huge mistake. And this is probably a problem that they have this sort of attitude, because it's not healthy. It just destroys your body. And I thought, I can't keep doing this. I'm gonna get some sort of chronic muscle inflammation or whatever. When I went back to Germany in 2016, I went to see all kinds of doctors and nobody really knew what was wrong with me. I even had exploratory surgery kind of like a year ago, because there was a doctor who thought that maybe it's not the muscle, maybe it's the bladder. Then I had all sorts of very awkward and very uncomfortable bladder examinations. So that really sucked. But to this day, doctors didn't really know what I had, what was the issue. But thank God now it went away. Now I'm fine. When they did the surgery, and that was like my last hope, and they told me, the doctor looked into my eyes and said, we don't know what's wrong with you. I freaking cried like a in the hospital, and I was like, this is just all these 3 years in the temple for nothing. I will never be able to do this sports again. But then I decided to move forward. You have to, at some point, what can you do, right? You have to, gonna give up, or so that's the way it is. From that point on, I decided to consciously ignore it, if that makes sense. Like, just pretend that the pain doesn't exist, and now I don't feel it anymore. So I'm guessing it's gone. I really don't feel it anymore, so it's probably gone. And now I can do sports again, I can do Kung Fu again, so back to the old me. But yeah, back then, that really put a huge roadblock in my way, because if I'm there and I'm not training, what am I doing? So that was reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that I started to miss my family. As I got older, or as I get older, family seems to get more and more important. When you're 15, 16, you don't really think about all the things your parents do for you and your family has done for you in the past and the sacrifices. But you start to realize that more and more as you get older. At least I think that I did. You start to appreciate things more. And you feel like you want to give back, or at least be there and be grateful. And because I have a pretty big family, And I have also a couple of cousins that were still pretty young when I left. And I realized, man, they're gonna grow up and I won't be there. It's not like I spend every week with them, but still, I'm not gonna see them grow up. And I'm not getting this time back ever. I'll be back there. Once I'm back, they're 16, 15, or 18. And I don't get to kind of see them go through puberty and see them grow up and see them struggle, with their issues and help them, be the cousin, be there. That's why when I got back from Shaolin, I babysitted them a lot and I helped them with school, My mother visited me twice. And my dad visited me several times also to help me out, with local temple stuff. But you're just not getting the time with your family back ever. Believe it or not, it's hard to admit it, but I'm a very emotional, a very sensitive person, I think. And there were nights where I couldn't sleep thinking about what if something happens and I'm not there, and that would just suck. And I think I would feel very guilty. My original plan was to stay for 5 years, but I just did 3. I just had to sort of see my family again. And then the last reason is that I had the idea with this YouTube channel. Can you believe it? Even while I was there, I had my laptop and I would play, especially I would play Mortal Kombat in my spare time. And I always loved video games. Even when I was a kid, I would review games. I would write down notes like pros and cons of a game that nobody would ever read, put them on a little post-it note, and then stick it on the game. I developed this concept very early on. This Anton and Arthur show. I developed it together with my cousin Arthur, this sort of divide reviews into story, gameplay, fun, and playtime, which I still think is an amazing system. I'm not doing it anymore because I don't have the time. But this is a great system, and he developed this intro, and I was getting really hyped for it. And because in my last few weeks, in the last month, I couldn't train anymore due to my injury, I was mostly in my room with my laptop playing games. And I would write scripts and trying to find myself, artistically and creatively. The first few reviews of the channel were absolutely horrible. Just horrible. Just unfunny, cringy, and it physically pains me to see them, to watch them. The first review that we did was Total War Warhammer, and I took that one down because, oh no. If you think there's cringe on my channel right now, I'm telling you, you don't know nothing. You know nothing. There's... I can't even think about it. But yeah, I had this idea with this channel. I was getting really hyped for it. I wanted to just get started, I couldn't train, which is the reason why I was there. I couldn't train anymore. I missed my family. I wanted to do YouTube. And that's why I decided at some point, let's just make a cut. Let's not do 5 years. I can come back and visit. Let's go home. And that's what I did. Here I am now, 3 years later. Crazy how the time flies. And I made it. For me, in my eyes, I already made it. This is so crazy. And I'm so grateful. Sorry for just kind of getting sidetracked here, but at the end of the day, I try to spread positivity with this channel. I try to spread laughter. I try to put smiles on people's faces. I implement a lot of languages in my videos because I think languages are fun. I grew up very multiculturally. I love different cultures. I want to spread positive vibes. I don't know. That's it. So I hope I settled this question once and for all. Now, if you're wondering why did you leave Shaolin Temple, you can watch this video and then you'll know. I hope it was interesting. Working on a Rage 2 review. And yeah, peace and love. Amitofo.